Good morning, everyone. How are you doing this morning? Sorry, I was running late. Been trying to get my audio to work, and my headphones wouldn't work, so I had to use these damn things again. So it's good to see you. Good to see you, JW, Cynthia, the ugly truckling, knock it offler. Oh my gosh, Ingrid, how you doing? JW, T's T. Good morning, everyone. Okay, so I got asked about this last night, and I had no idea what anybody was talking about, and I had to go through the whole damn thing because it was. Here, I'll play you the clip that everyone is playing, okay? And we're going to take it completely out of context. What Trump said, okay? We'll break it down for you, and we'll have the exact words that he used, and then we'll go back and maybe reference what he was talking about, because someone said, well, Trump said Christians weren't going to have to vote anymore if they voted for him. Oh God. All right, we'll play the whole damn thing because it's just ridiculous. Here we go. I've got it sped up a little bit too, so I don't have to listen to the whole speech.
So to these forts, as an example, Fort Bragg, proud. We won 2 world wars. Let's change the name. On day 1, I will sign a new executive order to cut federal funding for any school pushing critical race theory, transgender insanity, and other inappropriate racial, sexual, or political content onto the lives of our children.
We're listening here to former President Donald Trump speak at this event in West Palm Beach, Florida. We're going to step away for a quick commercial break. We continue with this next.
That was a quick break.
And vote early, vote absentee, vote on election day. I don't care how, but you have to get out and vote. And again, Christians, get out and vote just this time. You won't have to do it anymore. 4 more years, you know what? It'll be fixed, it'll be fine. You won't have to vote anymore, my beautiful Christians. I love you, Christians. I'm a Christian. I love you. Get out. You got to get out and vote. In 4 years, you don't have to vote again. We'll have it fixed so good you're not going to have to vote. In conclusion, America has always been a nation won, built, and sustained by Americans of faith. It was faith that led the Pilgrims to cross an ocean and settle this majestic continent. It was belief in our Creator that led the patriots to defend their liberties in the war for independence. It was faith in America's God-given destiny that pushed the pioneers to journey west. And it was trust in God that led generations of American believers to end slavery, defeat fascism and communism, and make this into the greatest and most exceptional nation in the history of the world. But now we are a nation in decline. We are.
All right, so you got the little piece there where he talks about if you won't have to vote anymore, but you have to put it into context of what he talked about through the rest of his speech, and it'll take me a little while to get there. All right. And let's see, he talks about camel toe and not liking Jewish people because she didn't want to have anything to do with her husband. Big New York, Jerusalem. Let's see. That was terrible. Jerusalem, Israel. I don't want to say it was around in here somewhere whenever he talks about what happened in Israel. And we will get it to, let's see. With the word paper tiger. Let's see where it is. January, rock solid, conservative. There we go.
Years. It was supposed to take 5 years. 4 weeks. Within days of the heinous October 7th attack on Israel, Kamala Harris praised the anti-Israel protesters. You saw that, right? She praised them. She betrayed America's ally and sided with the radical fringe of her party, only for political gain, maybe for personal gain, I don't know. And this week, many of those Kamala Harris supporters burned American flags in the heart of our nation's capital and desecrated our monuments. Did you see? They sprayed very powerful spray paint into limestone. Magnificent, the lions, the bells, you saw it. And you know, when that gets into limestone, you never really get it out. You'll see it in 100 January 6 hostages. Sympathizers and America-hating radicals, we will deport them. We will deport them very quickly. We have no choice.
We're listening here to former President.
Month, and even after birth, execute the baby after birth. The baby is born. Remember the former governor of Virginia? He said the baby is born we sit with a mother and we discuss, and they want to pass laws to that effect. These people, incest, I think it's very important. Don't forget, if you don't do certain things, you're not going to win elections, and it'll be a very Pyrrhic victory. It'll be a victory that's not really a victory at all. But Ronald Reagan felt that. I felt that. Many people feel that. And we really did something that nobody thought was possible. I want to thank the 6 Supreme Court justices, Clarence Thomas, Samuel Alito, John Roberts, Brett Kavanaugh, Neil Gorsuch, and Amy Coney Barrett for the wisdom and the courage they showed on this long-term and very, very contentious issue. And getting it back to the states puts the question where it belongs with the vote of the people, and it's happening all over the country. You're having the vote of the people. And over time, it will all work out. It's working out at a rapid rate already. You know that. It's going to many states are voting on it now, and many have already voted. And sometimes, again, sometimes the vote with the country for their DOJ and FBI be allowed to target, persecute, or review the cases of every political prisoner. And 75 years old, she's going to jail. And she's in jail, she's going to jail, she's going to be there for quite a while because she was singing religious tunes outside of the clinic. I will create a new federal task force on fighting anti-Christian bias. And its mission will be to investigate all forms of illegal discrimination, harassment, and persecution against Christians in America. The weaponization of law enforcement is the greatest threat to freedom in our country, and nobody knows it better than me. I think I know it better than anybody. The reason Biden, Harris, and their thugs are so desperate to stop us is that they know that we are the only ones who can stop them. We are the only ones that can stop them. This is a movement, Make America Great Again, MAGA, the likes of which our country has never seen before. And by the way, Christians have to vote. You know, I don't want to scold you, but you know that Christians do not vote proportionately. They don't vote like they should. They're not big.
Okay. If you understand what he's talking about, he's saying that the Christian bloc doesn't get out and vote. Okay. So whenever he references it later in the speech, what he's referencing is if you want to go back to not voting again afterwards, then go back to not voting again afterwards, but you're about to lose a lot of your religious freedoms. That's what he's talking about. So once you put it in context, it starts to make a little bit more sense what he's saying. And that's what he's saying right now. And then not even 15 minutes later, half an hour later, he's basically reiterating the point, and it just didn't come off as well. And that's what they sound clipped. So here you go. I'll let you hear the rest of it.
Big voters. You know who else aren't voters? The NRA endorsed me very powerfully. Strongest endorsement they can give. National Rifle Association. People that own guns and rifles are not big voters. They have to vote. If you don't vote, we're not going to win the election. If you do vote, we're going to win in a landslide. Too big to rig. We're going to win in a landslide. But Christians, you know, you'll go to church every Sunday, and Pastor Paula White and all of the people, I understand, they're doing lockboxes in churches where people don't even have to go to vote. They can now vote in church. And if you do that, we're going to win by numbers that nobody's ever seen before. You know, you have tremendous power, but you just don't know that. But you have to use that power. Christians are a group that's known not to vote very much. You have to go out, at least this election. Just give us and get us into that beautiful White House. Vote for your congressmen and women. Vote for your senators. We will change this country for the better. This country will be great again like never before. You got to vote. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again, November 5th, which is a period, really, because you're allowed to vote early. They have early voting, late voting. Everything is so ridiculous. We should have one-day voting, paper ballots, voter ID, and certification of citizenship. And that's what we're striving for. But voting actually starts on September 6th in North Carolina, a great state. We're doing very well there. I only say that when we're winning or going to win, you know that. I mean, it's just one of those little things, can't help it. No, it's a great state. North Carolina, September 6th. Then it's Pennsylvania toward the end of September, and it's various states in September, and then you have October, and you know, it used to be on November 5th you vote. But November 5th, meaning November 5th, period, meaning this election will be the most important election in the history of our country. We're going to save our country with this election. So all of their persecution is only happening because I am running for president and leading very big in all of the polls, including big leads against Kamala. We have very good leads, you know, despite the fact that she came in as a replacement, a mandatory replacement. Joe, you're doing badly, Joe. We want you out, but I don't want to go out. I don't want to go out. You're going out, Joe. Do you understand that, Joe? You're going out, Joe. I don't want to go out. I won't go out. All right. If you don't go out, we're going to go after you with the 25th Amendment. You're incompetent. Everybody knows that, Joe. You know, I won my case in Florida on the documents, right? Joe had a much more, I had the Presidential Records Act on my side. I was allowed to do, I didn't do anything wrong. He did, because he didn't have the Presidential Records Act. He lost his case, but the decision was he's incompetent. So he can't go to trial.
So there you go. We put it back into context of what they had to say. Yeah, man, no matter what, he's 42% of the Dems will vote Democrat. Exactly. And that's what you expect. I mean, like I said, they took out of context the rest of his speech. They they went after him in the last part of his speech where he's saying, you don't have to vote anymore after that. If you listen to the first part of the speech where he says, if you don't get out and vote, he basically what he was saying is if you want to go back to not voting after this, then go back to voting after this, not voting after this. It's entirely up to you. But if you don't get out and vote now, then great. That just means that they'll probably end up losing, and which is a possibility. Don't know. Not really worried about it, but yeah, I'm with you on that. Nullify the Baptist busing strategy. You like it? Way to go. Yeah. So that somebody asked me about that last night, and I told them to watch today just so I could put it into context, because I was like, what in the hell are they talking about? And they thought that he said this last night. This is going on 3 nights ago that he said this. And it took him this long to listen to the speech to come back and get one soundbite at the very end of it. Because down here in the bottom of your browser, you can see the most viewed portion. It'll have this little hump in the, most browsers have it down here. You can see there's a little bump towards the bottom. I can't really point on it right now, but down towards the bottom, the very end of his speech, they clipped that one little section out. So whenever you start hearing these little sound bites, this right here is just nothing more than disinformation. Yes, it came across on Fox. Like I said, don't trust the media without going and verifying it yourself what the whole context of the speech is. It puts it in, it doesn't put it into good context. Same way with what he said about camel toe. All right. It's here because we're going to be going over this here shortly. Right here, whenever he talks about camel toe, and we'll just leave that there for now. It's going to, oh yeah, he's also talking about the right of freedoms to practice religion, that the Democrats want to eliminate that. You also have to understand that's what he's speaking at, is the Believers Summit. Do you think he's going to go and tell Christians at the Believers Summit to not vote anymore? Or just not vote? The outrage would be likely that he's stealing page out of the Democrat playbook. Yeah, that is about it. That is about it. So, and we'll get to that one here shortly. That's not it. And there it is. Oh. There we go. And I said the same damn thing yesterday on this one. So, Donald Trump says Camel Toe Harris, who's married to a Jewish man, doesn't like Jewish people. Yeah. And this is what he says. Former President Donald Trump, in an interview on Tuesday, claimed Vice President Harris, who is married to a Jewish man, doesn't like Jewish people and seems to agree with a radio host who called second. What? No, he wouldn't be. He'd be second lady. Don't care. Doug Imhoff, a crappy Jew. Yeah. Yeah. She makes so much sense. Trump, in an interview on WABC radio on Tuesday, claimed Harris looked uncomfortable while meeting last week with Benjamin Netanyahu. You can see the disdain. Number one, she doesn't like Israel. Number two, she doesn't like Jewish people. You know it. I know it. Everybody knows it. And nobody wants to say it. Trump is trying to capitalize on the divisions in the Democrat Party over Israel-Hamas war and sought to paint his political opponents as anti-Semitic while overlooking some of his own past comments and behavior. No. And it gives the appearance that she does not like Israel or the nation of Israel, which has Jewish people. So the reason he says this has to do with what her speech was afterwards. Look at her speech the following day. She wants Jerusalem to cease fire. Israel has said, we are not stopping until this is over, until we have rid Hamas and we've gotten Iran under control. Because with Iran, that war doesn't look like it's ever going to end. That's something that's been going on for quite some time. He's talking about with Hamas, we don't want any more of this. And until they are weeded out, we're not going to deal with this anymore. And the United States should be supporting us as an ally. We're not doing anything that's going to, we're basically standing up against, oh my God, we're talking foreign policy. The candidate has an actual position. My pearls. Yeah. Yeah. He isn't riding the assassination attempt. No, he doesn't have to. So, sought to paint his political opponent as anti-Semitic while overlooking some of his own past comments and behaviors, such as dining in his Florida club with denying white nationalists. So who was it that they're talking about was dining at with Ye or Yee or whatever he calls his name, and had Nick Fuentes there? Oh, where he told him to get the hell out, where he chased him out of there and said, don't come back. Yeah, that right there. Yeah, he's not up on all of the fools, but yes, it was one of those where yeah, they came over and showed up at his over at his place, and Trump was like, yeah, I'm not dealing with this, and got up and left. Yeah, he was here. Let's put it this way: you can't guarantee who's going to support you, and if he has someone like that supporting him, he's just like, get the hell away. I don't have time for it. So this one was November 26, 2022. So he was with West, and that's whenever he brought in Nick Fuentes, which that's what he's talking about here. That this was reported on in 2022. You remember Kanye, whenever he was saying all of the bull stuff that he was. So it's funny that you would have Nick Fuentes hanging out with Kanye West, which they call Nick Fuentes Holocaust denying white nationalist. But he's hanging out with a black man. Okay. No denying that what Nick Fuentes is, he's far right. No denying that. Now, whenever he showed up at Mar-a-Lago, he was just like, yeah, I don't know who this is. I have no idea who this is. And the fact that he trusted Kanye West to bring somebody to the table that was somewhat intelligent, that didn't work. And so they went after him. Do you think there was a reason why they did that? Yeah. So that's what they're referencing whenever they're talking about this right here. Well, with Harris replacing Biden, America's better than the fear, the hate, the despicable insults of DT, said James Singer, spokesman for the Harris campaign. Harris believes Americans want a president who unites our country instead of divides it, uses the power of presidency to help families instead of hurt them, and has a vision for our future instead of taking us backwards. In their review, Republican former president repeated comments he has made before lashing out at Jewish voters who back Democrats. Yes, he said, "Why I don't understand why." Yeah, these new Camelot advertisements are so cringe. Yeah, if you're Jewish and you vote for a Democrat, you're a fool, an absolute fool. They have let Jewish people down since Obama at that level that nobody could believe. That's all he said. I don't think he was lashing out at Jewish voters. He was questioning why they would vote for somebody that wants to eliminate them. As Trump continued on, he said of Harris, she dislikes Jewish people and Israel even more than Biden did. The interview host Sid Rosenberg then mentioned Harris's husband, Doug. He's Jewish, like Bernie Sanders is Jewish. Are you kidding me? Yeah, Trump said. He's a crappy Jew. Rosenberg said, continuing, yeah. Rosenberg went on saying of Eminoff, he's a horrible Jew, and then moved on to criticize Harris on other issues. Trump made a similar claim about Harris disliking Jewish people on Friday while speaking to a group at Turning Point USA gathered in Florida. He also ignited blowback in the past for making similar remarks about Jewish people, like when he said in March that Jews who vote for Democrats hate Israel and hate their religion. Yeah, if you've got people that are wanting to destroy your religion and your freedom thereof, where they're preaching to destroy everything from the river to the ocean. Yeah, that usually doesn't go down very well. Emhoff, the first Jewish person to serve as a spouse of a whatever, don't care. See, that's the thing. Don't care. You know, it's a lip service. Emhoff's adult daughter, Ella, for posting on her social media account a fundraising link for the UN Relief Works Agency for Palestine refugees. So his daughter's Jewish, right? Israel sought to ban the group and suggests it supports terrorists. Rosenberg, who is Jewish, is a longtime conservative in New York City. Rosenberg, who is Jewish, longtime conservative New York City radio personality who hosts Sids and Freds in the morning. Don't know who that is. He came into prominence as a sidekick and sports anchor on Don Imus's long-running morning radio show. He drew backlash in 2001 for making racist comments, calling tennis star Venus Williams an animal and saying that she and her sister Serena should. That's what Don Imus said. Oh, okay. Rosenberg came and said that. Show over those remarks, but reappeared on the show later and was involved in an incident that got Imus fired. Which made Imus made a racist and misogynistic remark about the Rutgers University women's basketball team. Yeah, I'm sure his daughter's a practicing Jew. Yeah. Free Palestine brought to you by Chickens for KFC is a logical Gordian's knot. Yes. That is exactly what Israel said, or Netanyahu said, about people that are supporting Palestine. It's like inviting chickens to KFC for dinner. It is a sham. And that was what he was talking about whenever he actually sat down with Netanyahu. And had I'm sure a long conversation. I'm sure Netanyahu or Yahoo or whatever you guys want to call him, that he was not too impressed with Kamala or Camel Toe or whatever the hell her name is. Yeah, that was very, very much something that, like I said, she would not show up to Congress, which she could have sat down there in Congress to show support. But she didn't. She could have been there. It probably would have been a good idea for her to be there. It would have showed that there was some solidarity. But just like a lot of her Democrat colleagues that either didn't show up or showed up wearing Free Palestine or calling Netanyahu a murderer. Yeah. I don't know if Imus is necessarily wrong about the nappy-headed hose. Just got to keep that to yourself, though. Yeah, usually. Yeah. Yeah, it's not where you need to be out there trying to go after people. You know, if you go out and attack, you know, you have to realize that right there, what got him canceled on that was he has advertisers. Advertisers don't like hearing that. And the radio show had no choice but to remove him. Mm-hmm. She would have showed up if her donors wanted her to. Exactly. But her donors are not going to allow that. But you're going to also, the rest of the whole day, I'm sure you're going to be hearing about this. If you haven't heard about it all night, this is going to be one of the big things that goes on. Hamas leader Ismail, I'm not even going to try to say it, is killed in Iran by an alleged Israeli strike. Alleged? No, there was no allegedness about it. Israel said that they made this strike. So whenever AP decides to put down an alleged strike, no, Israel said, yes, we hit hard and we did this. The Hamas leader, was killed by a pre-dawn strike in the Iranian capital Wednesday. Iran, the militant group, said, blaming Israel for the shock assassination that risked escalating the conflict. Even as the U.S. and other nations were scrambling to prevent an all-out regional war, Iran's supreme leader vowed revenge against Israel. There was no immediate comment from Israel, which has pledged to kill him and other Hamas leaders over the October 7th attack on Israel, in which the group killed 1,200 people and took some 250 others hostage. Yes, that attack was where they went to a music festival and went through and one by one, just pop, 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 pop with the pew-pews. Strike came just after Hania had attended the inauguration of Iran's new president in Tehran, and only hours after Israel targeted a top commander ally in Hezbollah in the Lebanese capital, Beirut. The dramatic assassination of Hamas's top official leader threatened to reverberate through the region's intertwined conflicts. Most explosively, the strike in Tehran could push Iran and Israel into direct conflict if Iran retaliates. So didn't miss anything. Exactly. Thank you, Toy. Thank you, Toy. Yeah, you missed Camel Toe. It's not missing anything. She's losing badly. This is because they went from weird. They went from calling Trump and Vance weird. That was on all the news for days. They've taken it to that, and then they've gone after. Let's see. They tried the Project 2025. That failed miserably. What else have they tried? Pretty much they're trying everything they can. And they get beat at every single step because they can't win at the facts. So they have to make up things and create issues that are non-issues because they can't beat them at the facts. Camel Toe is weird. Why are the Democrats putting her up? They're not. That's the problem, Toy. They're not putting her up. So you've got leadership in the Democrat Party that's propping her up, but Democrats on a whole are not putting her up. This is the same reason that he makes bad news sound good with his voice. Thank you, Funston. I appreciate it. And you have to understand that there's been no primary held. The primary that was held was for Joe Biden. Because if she would have primaried, she wouldn't have won. Also, I don't know if she would have done well primarying as vice president. Like, here's the thing. Like I said before, this was planned. Now, I'm not saying that the pew pew at Trump was planned. What I'm saying is the Democrats already had a plan laid out of how they were going to put Harris into the office. Okay, they were hinging their bets on her initially. They were hinging their bets on her. Every single news report, if you go back to the 2020 election cycle, they had her propped up all the way through. I mean, it was every single news station you would see was all about camel toe. Every single debate, every single commercial, they made sure that she was center stage. They focused in on her and Cory Booker, because they had to. And Cory Booker got his ass handed to him so many times, and it was all about her. And then that one fateful piece with Tulsi Gabbard destroyed her entirely. I mean, just completely shut her down. Showed what her prosecution history was, what her history has been in the state. What is it, Congress, whatever, and showed how horrible she was at her job. Shut her down. Like, before any votes came in, she was dropped out. And that just left room for the other candidates to boost up. They eliminated all of those. They got rid of Bernie. For all you Bernie bros out there, yeah, they made sure that Bernie lost that and dropped out. More than likely, they came to him and said, "You're going to make Camel Toe your VP, and if you don't," and more than likely Bernie was like, "Yeah, her policies are horrible. I don't like her," and said no. And they were just like, "All right, well, you're off the ticket," and they put Biden in there. So Biden got in there, and the first thing that he did was to make sure that the losing candidate, the one that dropped out first, the one that sucked wind, that couldn't even get like 2%, was put on the ticket. So Democrats playing a long game here. And this is, I'm just, conspiracy theory me, get out your metal caps or whatever it is that you want to wear. Yeah. Former Bernie bro here, but never vote for him ever now. Yeah, I mean, and that's so sad. But the DNC donors picked her after Hillary last. Wish I could find it. Yeah, yeah. I know which one you're talking about. I've seen that article too. So she did not make it at all. The only way that she's made it is to become VP. All right. More than likely, the reason they put her in there is because they were hoping that Joe, would, no more Joe. Well, unfortunately for the Democrats, Joe's pretty damn wild. He's managed to make it 4 extra years than they were hoping, and so, well, how about this, Joe? We'll get you all propped up. We'll make sure that you win the primary. But what we're going to do is once we've sealed all the votes before we go to the DNC, we want you to drop out, Joe. We're going to schedule this where you're not able to be very cognizant of what you're saying or doing on the stage at a time that's horrible for you, because you are sundowners, and we got something for you. And so he looks absolutely like crap, lost, dazed, and confused. Now this puts him in two positions. If she can't get the nomination, then there's a little thing called slip and fall, 25th Amendment, and guess who ends up stepping in there for the rest of his term? Weird, huh? But see, she doesn't have to primary. And there was a lot of Democrats that were going, why aren't we primarying this? Because she didn't win. You've actually moved her in here. She's winning by proxy. So this is why they call her a diversity hire. Because she's done none of the work. She's done none of the work. Nobody likes her. And they're just like, great. She's going to get votes just because she has that D in front of her name. I think wasn't it Nancy Pelosi that said, paperclip with a D in front of it would be voted into California. That's her. And that if you want to debate debate things about it, sure, go ahead. But because of Trump saying all of these things, now she's gotten upset and she wants to debate Trump. Well, say it to my face. Okay, sure. You can just tell her to F off. He doesn't have to debate her. I would suggest, maybe set your debate up after the RNC or after the DNC, because him debating her gives validity to her being a candidate. That would be my suggestion. Say, no, I think not. I don't feel any need to debate the person that's not the candidate. They're not on the ticket. How about this? After DNC, I'll do a debate. If you're still the candidate, I'll do that after the DNC. That's what I would say if I was Trump. I mean, wouldn't that make sense to just about anybody? Say, hey, sweetheart, if you can win the DNC, because the delegates haven't put their name behind you, but if you can win all of the delegates, then sure, I'll come debate you. But you got to do something first, like prove that you're not just a DEI hire, diversity hire. She's not even the candidate. Exactly. And the only reason that Trump debated and finally did debate Biden was because he was like, yeah, it's pretty clear that Donald Trump is the candidate. It's pretty clear that they've made Biden their candidate. And, it's not going to hurt me any. Debating camel toe, it's not that it hurts him. It just gives validity to her claims. That's all. I wouldn't do it if I were Trump. I would say, no, how about we wait until after you get your nomination? Because Biden had his nomination. That was pretty clear that everybody was going to be nominating him. But it's not clear whether everybody's going to nominate her. That's also why she hasn't named her candidate. Yeah, he shouldn't blow her out. He shouldn't blow her out of the water. I think blowing Biden was blowing out Biden was a mistake too. Yeah, I agree. But yeah, we consider his revenge as our duty, said the Iran leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. And a statement, his official website said Israel had prepared a harsh punishment for itself by killing a dear guest in our home. Bitter regional rivals. Okay. Tuesday evening, Israel carried out a rare strike in the Lebanese capital that it said killed the top commander behind the rocket strike, which denied the role in the Golan strike. It said Wednesday it was still searching for the body of Fuad Shakar in the rubble, the building that was hit in the Beirut suburb, killing 2 women and 2 children. There There was no immediate reaction from the White House because the White House wants to separate themselves so far away from Israel. Yeah. So there you go. That's what that's all about. Abby is a news director for Lebanon, Syria, and Iraq. She joined AP in 22, but has been based in the region since 2016. Israel is suspected of running a years-long assassination campaign targeting Iranian nuclear scientists and others associated with its atomic program. In 2020, the scientist, whatever, was killed by a remote-controlled machine gun while traveling in a car outside Tehran. Okay, well, there you go. Yeah, that's what that is all about. And of course, it's going to destabilize the area more. Don't know if it's going to do that. No, there's no guarantees that that's going to make it any worse or any better. It never does. You never know what they're doing. But of course, I'm done talking about the AP's stuff there because yeah, that's just Mad's got mad lad. Mad's got mad lad. What's up, Mads? How you doing? In retrospect, Trump should have postponed the Biden debate until Dems could not change horses, but hindsight is 2020. Well, no, they could change horses anytime they wanted to. It was a good thing that he did when he did. I mean, seriously, that probably worked out to be one of the best for him. It probably worked out the best for him because they were not expecting him to make it through that last bit. So this is, I don't know if you guys saw this. So where is it? Let me find it really quick. I'm sure you guys did because you're up to speed more than I am. This is going to freak you out a little bit. Just know that I'm not doing this because I want to. So this is what happens at the DNC. Hey! Damn it. Told you I didn't want that audio. So this is what happens at the DNC. This is what the DNC is about. Yeah. Do you see the crowds sitting there going, really? This is what they have for camel toe. This is what they're about. Really, you're trying to get the vote. And this is what you're showing. Because this is what you want to have. This is what this right here is showing your pride in America. This is your who wants to be. This is what your vice president supports. Interesting. That's very interesting. So it's like a strip club. Yeah. Yep. But you want to hear how people really feel about him? You want to hear how people really feel about camel toe? Notice none of this played it on national airwaves. Of course, why would it? You can't play that stuff on national airwaves. She looks good. That was what is her name? Something or other. It was the one that was talking about, something about hats or something. So this is what people really think about Kamala. Just an idea.
But I gotta ask you about Kamala Harris. How you feel about her?
She's a piece of shit. I was in California. She lacked professional competence, and she worked on it by hiking up her hemline when she needed influence rather than researching. She's always tried to do the casting couch to get where she wants. Now, the problem is that'll get somebody to a certain level quickly, but you can't get past that level if you don't have competence and talent. So my thing about it is if I'm crude about it, in this city years ago, I used to represent a whole bunch of pimps and hoes, and I know a hoe when I see one. And I say this, I don't care, women, you do what you want to do if you want to have recreational sex, but when you do the casting couch or anything else for professional purposes to get paid or advance, you a hoe. And she's old hoe. And the problem is what is she supposed to do? Somebody, one of her sycophant slaves comes up and unwraps her in a carpet naked at Putin's feet, and he says, oh yeah, I'm Julius Caesar. He said, no, ho, I got better stuff here already. Plus, I don't want you anyway, you old woman. Get on up, Or Xi Jinping, is he supposed to be impressed? She's doing word salad. Well, we're here today because China and the U.S. are here today, and that's why we have to agree on what we're doing here today. Like, fool, what did you just say? Did you say anything?
Yes, this is how people really feel about camel toe. Okay. Oh, that's how they really feel about her. That that's how they feel about her. Okay. He speaks better than Camlet. Just joking. Hell yeah, he does. I think he speaks great. I could completely understand everything that he had to say. Oh, all right. So she told a cheering, boisterous, packed Atlanta arena that, trust me, that's not packed. She taunted Donald Trump for wavering on whether he'd show up for their upcoming debate. No, that was a debate was supposed to be with Joe. See, they were supposed to be having 3 debates, and that was supposed to be a debate with Joe. But see, Joe dropped out, and like Trump said, more than likely they threatened him with Article 25, which would have removed him. I mean, it's possible? Maybe. The momentum in this race is shifting, said the likely nominee, and there are signs Donald Trump is feeling it. No. Here's the thing. You know what Donald Trump is feeling? He's feeling the love of his party. I heard everybody walked out 15 minutes before the debate after the free concert. There was no debate. There hasn't been a debate yet. Little more than a week ago, Georgia appeared to be slipping out of the Democrats' reach. No, Georgia's been pretty damn purple. Even the last election round. So the big cities will vote Democrat. That's how they go, because they don't like the rural areas in Georgia. The people that are out there, keeping Georgia running. They call them trailer park trash, those kinds of things. So That's what you get in Georgia. It's no different in most places. The larger cities tend to vote Democrat. That's why we have electorals. And there are signs Donald Trump is feeling it. Little more than a week ago, Georgia appeared to be slipping out of his hand. But now Biden bowed out ungracefully, and Harris is the likely nominee, but that's it. She's not the likely nominee. That's the problem. She has to get past all of the delegates, which I don't think the delegates are going to vote for him. Why would you debate someone that doesn't have the nomination? Well, put this into consideration. Neither him nor Joe had the nomination whenever they debated. Neither of them had the nomination of their party. Because the RNC gets their candidate first, and then the DNC. Well, and I don't know. It's just the way that the dates worked out. Then the DNC chose their nomination later this year. If I'm not mistaken, didn't they delay it because it was supposed to happen earlier, and they delayed the DNC? Goes to show you, does it? It's like almost like it was promising. Obama passed on camel toe. The infighting is real. Yeah. Joe debate with hardcore Dem. They left after the first commercial. I felt real bad. Yeah. So she's never had a primary. I talked about this earlier. Wrong. People voted for Trump. Joe was the incumbent. Yeah, that is true. That is true. But that doesn't mean you're going to get the nomination. Yeah, they never have. He's never had a primary. She hasn't had a primary. She's just DEI. She's diversity, equity, inclusion, hire. That's it. Oh, we'll get into some of that here in a little bit. We'll tell you. The momentum in the race is shifting. It's not. In the state that Biden delivered his narrowest victory in 2020, Harris pulled off was been a signature Trump event, a big loud rally. No, people showed up for the booty shake. That's it. Just plain weird. Okay, so that's what they're saying again. Trump earlier said he'd debate Harris, but now has questioned the value of a meetup and said he probably will debate her, but he can also make a case for not doing it. So keep them guessing. Harris sized on it. Yeah, he won't debate me, but he and his running may have a lot to say about me. Yeah. Why not? And by the way, you don't find some of the stuff just to be plain weird. Well, Donald, I do hope you'll meet me on the debate stage. Because as the saying goes, if you got something to say it and say it loud and say it something to the yesterday's tomorrow is today and say it to your face. Like your face is planning on doing a debate. Oh, I bet it will. Harris hasn't formally seized on the Democrat nomination, although she's the only person who met the qualifications to vie for it. Really? So the DNC announced Tuesday all but certainly Monday when the party concludes a virtual roll call vote. So that's what they're doing Monday? That'll be next Monday. Huh. Her pick of a running mate is also expected by early next week when Harris plans to begin a 7-stop tour of battleground states to hold rallies alongside her VP nominee. So next week is whenever they plan on doing this, having their virtual whatever. So what was the point of even having the DNC come together anyway? Huh. Yeah, VP expected Tuesday next week. Huh. She thinks she'll clinch it on Monday. It's all but certainly. On Tuesday, the roughly 8,000 capacity basketball arena at Georgia State, GSU, was filled to its rafters. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. Do you think that they came for her or they came for Megan the Stallion? Who do you think they came for? Do you think they came for Camel Toe or if they came for Megan? Such an atmosphere would not have been possible just 10 days ago because Biden had dismal performance. Mm-hmm. It's like Barack Obama on steroids for Mildred, 59-year-old who came downtown from Lilburn. Okay. Harris's campaign argues her appeal to young people. Okay, I don't see that either. The energy is infectious. America's tried these failed policies before. Oh yeah, like what you're doing. Like how bad you failed. Mail-in voting, at least they're consistent. Exactly. But they concede the landscape suddenly looks much closer to 2020. No. And they must, somebody said this earlier, they must really just be pissed that Trump isn't riding on the the assassination attempt, because he doesn't need to play the victim. Imagine that. He actually has a lot of pretty solid policies. Trump is not taking chances. Earlier Tuesday, he announced that he would come to Atlanta on Saturday for a rally in the same Georgia State arena. This is a spirit, she said. We know what we need to cross the finish line. Yeah, lots of written votes. So, do you notice that they're working on getting the women vote? Yeah. I got a good one for you. And it's going to make you angry. I just want you to know right off the bat, it's going to make you angry, but once you stick with it, you're going to enjoy this. I promise. But you have to stick with it. So don't get too angry to start off with. Don't get too angry. I know. There's humor in this. You'll find it. Here it comes.
Youngins, cover your ears because shit's about to get real. Don't scroll. This video is not going to go the way you think it's going to go. Anywho, so apparently they are trying to sweep shit under the rug like I was talking about in my last video. You know, the one that I posted 3 fucking times. And the 3rd time it's barely been seen by any damn body. If that one pissed y'all off, this one for sure is going to piss off you fuck-a-lumps. First off, fuck. I'm really sick and tired of all of a sudden hearing girl power. Let's have a woman president. Correct me if I'm wrong, which I already know I am fucking not. For almost 4 years, y'all have tried, well, y'all haven't tried, y'all actually done it, to take everything from women and everything that it is to be a woman. Like the word mother and Mother's Day and sports. Fuck, even tampon commercials. And let's not forget, even restrooms and locker rooms for women. Oh, y'all don't want to talk about that? I fucking figured. What a shock. Well, it's different now. Don't backtrack now, twatopotamus. Take the consequences that y'all brought on your fucking selves. Second time. If Donald Trump gets elected, it's a threat to our democracy. Right. But your Democratic government, just putting somebody in the Democratic spot to race for the presidency without y'all choosing them is not okay. And not just that, it's somebody that y'all did not want back in 2020. But now all of a sudden, y'all are just like, okay, woo! Y'all are fucking dumb, which your government knew. And that's how they were able to do this, knowing y'all would just go with it. That's why they cannot stand those of us that think for our damn selves. Also, did y'all forget? Trump was president one time before already. Just saying. Third, the opening ceremony for the fucking Olympics was completely a fucking disgrace. Hell, they even had one dude Well, one that we seen, with his flesh stones hanging out the bottom of his fucking shorts while dancing with children. Do fucking what? And I will tell y'all point blank, nobody gives a flying fuck, if you prefer ball barf suckers or one-eyed trouser trouts. But what we do care about is children being exposed to things they should not see, hear, or know. Fuck who you want to fuck, do what you want to do, but leave children the fuck out of it. I said what I said.
Yeah. From the South. So I understood everything she said. It sounds normal to me. Wow, I didn't expect that as info from someone that looks like this. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, she was on fire. You're learning new words. Twat wobble. Yeah, she was a little angry. But she makes a very valid point. Makes a very valid point. You know, I just have to play it again because it made me laugh so damn hard. I don't know if Allstorm has seen this one yet. I just have to play it again. It just made me laugh. Allstorm, this one is for you, brother. This one is for you.
But I gotta ask you about Kamala Harris. How you feel about her?
She's a piece of shit. I was in California. She lacked professional competence, and she worked on it by hiking up her hemline when she needed influence rather than researching. She's always tried to do the casting couch to get where she wants. Now, the problem is that'll get somebody to a certain level quickly, but you can't get past that level if you don't have competence and talent. So my thing about it is if I'm crude about it, in this city years ago, I used to represent a whole bunch of pimps and hoes, and I know a hoe when I see one. And I say this, I don't care, women, you do what you want to do if you want to have recreational sex, but when you do the casting couch or anything else for professional purposes to get paid or advance, you a hoe. And she's old hoe. And the problem is what is she supposed to do? Somebody, one of her sycophant slaves comes up and unwraps her in a carpet naked at Putin's feet, and he says, oh yeah, I'm Julius Caesar. He said, no, ho, I got better stuff here already. Plus, I don't want you anyway, you old woman. Get on up, you know. Or Xi Jinping, is he supposed to be impressed? She's doing word salad. Well, we're here today because China and the U.S. are here today, and that's why we have to agree on what we're doing here today. Like, fool, what did you just say? You know, did you say anything?
Sincere as can be. I love Joe. Exactly. That is Judge Joe Brown. Yeah. I think they call that curse slang. Twatopotamus. Yes. Oh God. Oh, it just puts a smile on my face. Oh, I wish he told us how he really felt. Oh, well, I'm going to go grab some coffee. I'll be back in less than 2 minutes. So enjoy the song while I grab some more of the morning caffeine, guys. I'll be right back with you.
Sandy shores, get a tan, Rambo the orangutan. Driving a golf cart, oh man, Rambo is half crazy, yes he can. Well, that SOB's a sight to F and see. Oh, Rambo's rolling, as the sun he's free at last. While Shizzy has his coffee, these two are having an effing blast. Has the son, he's free at last, while Shizzy has his coffee. These two are having an effing blast. Shizzy on the dunes, coffee in hand. Rambo is a loon, and Shizzy is, well, that is too dirty to say here. Shizzy on the dunes, coffee in hand. Rambo is a loon, and Shizzy is that is too dirty to say here, Oh, Rambo's rolling, rolling, rolling. Has the son, he's free at last, while Shizzy has his coffee. These two are having an effing blast. Otters in the surf, hummingbirds in the sky. Rambo honks the horn and spits in Shizzy's eye. Oh my! Oh, Rambo's rolling, rolling, rolling. Has the son, he's free at last, while Shizzy has his coffee. These two are having an effing blast. Oh, Rambo's rolling. Rambo takes a turn, driving to the wave. Otters wave their paws, telling Rambo, not sure, but if you could understand, Otter, it probably wasn't nice. Rambo takes a turn, driving to the waves. Otters wave their paws, telling Rambo, not sure, but if you could understand, Otter, it probably wasn't nice. Oh, Rambo's rolling, rolling, rolling. Has the son, he's free at last, while Shizzy has his coffee. These two are having a effing blast. So here's to Rambo, otters and hummingbirds by the edge of the ocean. And Shizzy, well, he might just be there too. Well, here's to Rambo, otters and hummingbirds by the edge of the ocean. And Shizzy, well, he might just be there too.
Thank you, Chad. That's such a good break song. It just makes puts a smile on my face. Oh my gosh. So here we go. More of this. Fact focus. Google autocomplete results around Trump lead to claims of election interference. Okay. Oh, Melissa, well, our glorious fact checker that never gets her fact checking right. With fewer than 100 days until the 24 election, social media users are claiming that a lack of Google autocomplete results about Donald Trump and his attempted assassination is evidence of election interference. Okay. Many posts include screenshots showing the autocomplete feature, which predicts what users are trying to type is generated for such text as attempted, blah, 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 or President Donald among the pictured results. For the former phrase are references to other attempts, including the one of Harry Truman, Gerald Ford, but nothing for Trump. The latter provides two options, President Donald Duck and President Donald Reagan. Multiple high-profile figures, blah, blah, blah. Google attributed the situation to the existing protections against autocomplete predictions associated with political violence. Search engine experts say there are many reasons that could explain why some of the autocomplete. Let's beat around. So the fact is, it's true that Google's autocomplete feature as of Monday is not finishing certain phrases. Yeah. So imagine that. Wait, you want real indicator? Go look at the Vegas odds. There you go. If you want real indicator, look at the Vegas odds. Donald Reagan. Yeah. Donald Reagan. Isn't that name Ronald? That seems very deliberate. Yeah. Complete searches around Trump and the attempt of the assassination done on him both Monday and Tuesday yielded extensive relevant results regardless of what autocomplete features came up. Google said its autocomplete features automatic protections regarding the violent topics. Really? Huh. We're rolling out improvements on autocomplete, or they're doing it on purpose. So they've admitted it. There you go. What fact check did you need that Google has put it in there? It's here. If you want to try something serious, you guys can try it right now. If you want to see your chat not shown, try typing in the N word. No, just N. Just try typing in N and hit enter. It won't show it because it's blocked on my channel. Serious. I could do that. Just type in the letter N. Just little N, big N, doesn't matter. Just type that in and hit enter. It won't let you. It won't show it. It'll block it. It's already set up like that. Now, a mod can do it, but they'd have to unblock it to be able to do it. It's weird, huh? There's a reason why we put that in place. Mm-hmm. Now I can have mods let it through if they wanted to, but it's a blocked letter. There's a sideway block on many things. It is a self-learning AI algorithm. Yeah. It is intentional. It is intentional. And that's all that they have to say. Also keep this in mind. Amid tensions with China, some U.S. states are purging Chinese companies from their investments. Okay. So the reason that they're put these in there, a lot of people are purging them from like investment portfolios, is because there's tensions with China, as there has been for some time. So if you're just now hearing this means that that the news is finally caught up with it. Okay. No, the mods are not letting it through. There you go. That's right. I should bring that up there. As the state treasurer, Vivek Malik pushed Missouri Maine retirement system to pull its investments from Vivek Malik. That's funny. The Maine retirement system to pull its investments from Chinese company, making Missouri among the first nationally to do so. That was a while back. Now Malik is touting the divestment as he seeks re-election in an August 6th Republican primary against challengers who are also denouncing financial connections to China. Missouri's treasurer race highlights a few facets of the opposition to China, which has been cast as a top threat to the U.S. by many candidates seeking election this year. Indiana and Florida have also restricted their public pension funds from investing in certain Chinese companies. Similar legislation targeting public investments in foreign adversaries was vetoed in Arizona, proposed in Illinois and Oklahoma. China ranks as the world's second largest economy behind the U.S. Between 18 and 22, U.S. public pension and university endowments invested about $146 billion in China. According to Future Union, a nonprofit pro-democracy group led by venture capitalist Andrew King. Well, let's see. If they're calling themselves a pro-democracy group, I don't know if I want to be dealing with them, because it sounds to me like they have some diversity and issues there. The report said more than 4/5 of the United States have at least one public pension funding investing in China and Hong Kong. Okay. Frankly, there should be more shame than there is for continuing to have those investments at this point in time, said King, who asserts that China has used intellectual property from U.S. companies to make similar products that undercut market prices. You're taking a considerable amount of money that, frankly, is competing against the U.S. technology and innovation ecosystem. Yeah. But some of the investment officials and economists have raised concerns that the emerging patchwork of state divestment policies could weaken investment returns for these retirees. Oh, yeah. See, there's the catch. They're saying, well, if you don't fund in China, then your returns could suffer. Old people, I'm telling you right now, if you don't keep investing your money into China, if you divest from China, it's going to ruin your future returns. Really? So now you can predict the market? That's what it sounds like to me. If you're telling me that if you told me, I'll just use this as an example. If you came up to me and told me that this company making widgets in 10 years is going to have a return of, $100 on the penny. Just using this as an example. Widget. I got this here widget. I own the company that makes this widget. If you invest in this widget, in 10 years, it's going to, for every penny that you spent, you're going to get $100 in return. You know what I would tell you? I'd tell you to go jump off a freaking bridge. Also, it's against law. It's called a Ponzi scheme. Okay. Anybody's telling you that your investment is going to yield you something, it's a Ponzi scheme. It's a lie. And don't get involved in it. Serious. Don't do it. And that's what they're telling them. Investment officials, economists are raising concerns that it could weaken investment returns. Go F yourself, because you have no guarantees what my investments are going to do. If you're telling me you have a guarantee of what my investments are going to do, then you're doing something crooked. So they can go F themselves. Most of these policies are unwise and would make U.S. citizens poorer, said Ben Powell. Well, Ben, you can go F yourself. You can go jump off the nearest bridge because you're trying to get me to invest in a Ponzi scheme. Director of Free Market Institute. So, you're an economics professor, yet you're telling people they need to go and invest in a Ponzi scheme. Yes. Can we invest directly into the Chinese market besides business collaboration? Yeah. It'll be all you have to do is if you're looking to invest in a company, like you can invest in Alibaba, Tencent, and you don't have to do anything except for open up a investment portfolio through any one of the investment firms or Robinhood or Webull or Charles Schwab or whatever. You can buy their stock. You can buy Chinese stock straight up. I mean, it's on a different market frame, but it's the same stock. It carries the same value. Yeah, you can buy Chinese stock. But if you're trying to tell me what stocks I need to purchase or what groups I need to purchase from as an investment strategy, go fuck yourself. Like, seriously, it's a Ponzi scheme. And I don't trust anybody that wants to get me to buy into a Ponzi scheme, because you can't predict the future. National Association of Retired Administrators opposes state mandated divestments. I don't trust those people either, saying such orders should come only from the federal government against specific companies based on U.S. security or humanitarian interests. The U.S. Treasury Department recently proposed a rule prohibiting American investors from funding AI systems in China that could have military uses such as weapons targeting. In May, Joe Biden blocked a Chinese-backed cryptocurrency mining firm from owning land near Wyoming nuclear missile base, calling it a national security risk, which is true. Yeah, I could see that. Also, they don't allow mining crypto in China. They stopped that. I'm sure there's people doing it underground, but they're they basically got out of the whole crypto business. Like they shut down people for doing that. This isn't the first time the states have blacklisted particular investments. Numerous states, cities, universities divest from South Africa because of the apartheid before the U.S. Congress eventually took some action. Now, see, you have that option. Some states have also divested from tobacco companies because of health concerns. Right. And some states have have also divested in Planned Parenthood because of health concerns. Said, yeah, we don't want that here. She said, you could sell me on investing in AI. I just feel it's a dead end. Could I sell you on investing in AI? No. Same reason. I wouldn't tell somebody to go out and get Bitcoin. I wouldn't tell anybody to do that. Because nothing's for sure. Like, if you want to, that's your prerogative. I tell you how to do it. But would I recommend it? No. I mean, would I recommend purchasing any stock or selling any stock? Hell no. I'm an idiot when it comes to that stuff. I can tell you, I can say that my stock portfolio is doing pretty well this year, but that doesn't mean it's going to do well next year or the year after that or guarantee some sort of return. I don't know. I mean, if you saw my stock portfolio, you go, damn. But that's this year. That's today. What's tomorrow going to look like? No, you don't know. You just invest in what you want to. The quest to halt investments in Chinese companies comes as a growing number of states have also targeted Chinese ownership of U.S. land. 24 states have laws restricting ownership of agricultural land, according to the National Agricultural Law Center at the University of Arkansas. Some laws apply more broadly, such as facing a legal challenge in Florida that bars Chinese citizens from buying property within 10 miles of military installations and critical infrastructure. Well, that's not just Chinese. That's against anybody. State pension divestment policies are part of a broader march towards more confrontation between China and the United States, said Clark Packard, research fellow for trade policy studies at the Libertarian Cato Institute. But it gets more challenging for the federal government to manage the overall relationship if we got to deal with a scattershot policy at the state level. Basically, they're just talking all about that kind of stuff to get fellow trustees to divest in China, and that's what it is. Okay, that's really the whole story. Well, that leads to our next story: is American flags should be born in the USA now. Too, Congress says. Well, this is what Congress says. Soon, Old Glory will have to be born in the land of the free and not merely flying over it. Congress has passed a proposal to require the federal government to purchase only American flags that have been completely manufactured in the U.S. The U.S. imports millions of American flags from overseas, mostly from China. And the sponsors of the proposal say it's time for American flags to originate in the country they represent. I feel like there's just a middle finger at the end. Yeah, the Chinese are invested in property, but our economy is investing in AI. Yeah. Steve Frenner, it seems like more countries are limiting smoking opportunities. It just feels like and they are. I know China and most of the Asian Pacific is a huge market for them. Why? Who cares where the flag is made? Well, apparently Congress does, because they've got a proposal that requires the federal government, and we're talking about the federal government. We're not talking about you, fellow Americans, to buy the cheap Chinese stuff. They're saying that the federal government should only be purchasing from United States manufacturers that are based here in the United States, and all the products are made here in the United States. That's a lot of cotton. Just saying. Supporters of the proposal, led by Susan Collins of Maine and Sherrod Brown of Ohio, said the change is more than just symbolic. They believe it will support American jobs, manufacturers, while preserving the nation's most recognized banner. I mean, isn't that like multicolored flag? It's whole glory, red, white, and blue, stars and stripes. The American flag is a symbol of our identity, our resolve and values as one people. To honor its significance, the federal government should use flags entirely manufactured in the United States. Oh, you notice they didn't do this before Pride Month or Day or whatever the hell it is. Supporters of the proposal said Monday they expect the measure to be signed into law soon. It was sent to Joe Biden on Thursday. That was last week. Federal rules require the government to buy flags that contain half U.S.-made materials. Supporters of the proposal said the rule change, called All American Flag Act, requires government-purchased flags to be produced entirely with American-made materials, as well as manufactured in the U.S. The value of the U.S. flag imports in 2015 was well over $4 million, according to federal data. The vast majority of those imports came from China. Supporters of the rule change said in 2017, the U.S. imported some 10 million American flags, and 99.5 of them came from China. Supporters of the proposal said those figures include all American flags imported into the country and not just those purchased by the federal government. Yeah, we have to point that out because that's how much is purchased. So how much does the federal government purchase? Maybe about 1 million of those. Collins and Brown have been pushing for American flags to be manufactured in the U.S. for several years. Previous efforts to change the rules to require U.S.-made flags found success in the United States Senate, but stalled when they reached the House of Representatives. Isn't that amazing? Which, like I said, it's all about the China thing. U.S. proposed rules stop American from investing in Chinese technology with all that stuff. We already pretty much read through all of that. U.S. military in February 23 shot down suspected Chinese spy balloon off a Carolina coast. After it flew all the way from one end of the United States to the other, they finally shot it down. It transversed sensitive military sites across North America. And of course, China threatened repercussions. Yeah. Why was it not shot down before then? And what was in the spy balloon? What was transferred back to China? You put one satellite up, you can get that thing bouncing off of it. Just saying. Since then, incidents between the two nations based on national security concerns have occurred. For instance, Biden in May issued an order blocking a Chinese-backed cryptocurrency. Okay, we already talked about that. That's all he's got that he's done against China was ban a cryptocurrency thing. But that just goes to show you. Because as North Korea and Chinese threats rise, U.S. looks to lock in defense partnership with Asian allies. Go figure. Like I said, things are about to get hairy over there in that area. It's not going to be pretty. Because what are the Democrats really good at? Starting wars and keeping wars going perpetually. Yeah, all politicians are. I think since Trump came in, there was fewer wars. I can't think of a single one that was started, and he actually was pulling out of another one. That's so weird. But of course, you have Kerry She won her GOP primary for a closely watched Arizona Senate race, and she'll face Gallego, or whatever. So she won her Republican nomination for a seat that would be crucial to deciding Senate control in Maricopa County, which includes Metro Phoenix and 60% of the Arizona's voters. Republicans were choosing between a slate of incumbents who stood up to Donald Trump, lies about the 2020 election, challengers who claim it was stolen. The primary give insight about where they're headed. Going into the final sprint, Gallego ran unopposed in the Democrat primary for Senate. Accepting victory Tuesday, late called Trump a hero, urged his supporters to back her as well. He can't do this alone. She defeated Mark Lamb, who contended he is more electable and the best candidate to secure the border, but he struggled to raise the money needed to make his case to voters. So, like I said, it's all about the money. It's all about the money. Does this sound familiar? No. No? Yeah. Hungary's Orbán uses control of media to escape scrutiny and to keep the public in the dark. Budapest, Hungary. In the months leading up to elections for the European Parliament, Hungarians were warned that the casting a ballot against Prime Minister Viktor Orbán would be a vote for all-out war. The right-wing Fidesz party cast the June 9th election as an existential struggle, one that could preserve peace in Europe if Orbán won, or fuel widespread instability if he didn't. To sell that bold claim, Orbán uses the sprawling pro-government media empire that's dominated the country political discourse for more than a decade. The tactic worked as it has since Orbán returned to power in 2010, and his party came first in the elections, though not by the margins it was used to. An upstart party led by a Fidesz insider attracted disaffected voters and took 29% of the vote to Fidesz's 44%. Everything has fallen apart in Hungary. The state essentially does not function. There's only propaganda and lies, says one of the party leaders. The story is supported by the Pulitzer Center for Crisis Reporting as part of an ongoing Associated Press series covering threats to democracy in Europe. Well, let's look up this right here. Pulitzer Center for Crisis Reporting. You know, it sounds like the kind of place you want. And let's see, our mission and our model. Let's see what they have to. Let's find out about this here company. No, I don't want your newsletter. All right, what does it say? Oh, they have no positions open at this time. Oh, there you go. They're a DEI company. Right there. Right there in their little thing. Pulitzer Center is an equal opportunity employer. The center is committing to fostering an inclusive environment where the individual differences among us, whether in terms of race, religion, color, age, gender, national origin, sexual orientation, physical challenge, or marital or family status, are understood, respected, and appreciated. Recognized as a source of strength, and valued as qualities that enrich the environment in which we work. For more information, please see our diversity, equity, and inclusion statement. So that right there is the little company that's supported by Pulitzer Crisis Reporting right here as part of an ongoing Associated Press series covering threats to democracy. So it's a DEI company. Way to go. Way to go, AP. I wonder if AP has a DEI thing also. Good Lord Almighty. So immediately, whenever I read this, I have to call bullshit, because this right here sounds to me like absolute bullshit. And I don't trust anything that comes out of these DEI businesses. I'm not saying that you have to. I'm just saying I don't. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous that these people are more interested. Oh, I see. One of the other things they're against here. Pulitzer Center covers some of the biggest challenges facing the world today, from the environment to global health to human rights to artificial intelligence. Financial transparency, governance, and gender, racial, and social justice are important cross-cutting themes in the issues we cover. Need I say more? No climate mentioned? How dare they? Yeah. Yeah. Well, whenever they say environment health, they're talking about, from the environment, they're talking about the global warming, cooling, and if you disagree, well, there you go. So I have a hard time even following this thing right here because I don't believe this at all. I don't believe anything that they're saying here. And it seems to me they're going to take shit out of context. Sounds to me like a lot of AI at that organization already. Yeah, it does. It does. So they're downplaying anything about Hungary, and I can't believe anything that they're saying. Because it sounds to me like spin. Yeah, that was that little group, the Pulitzer Center of Diversity and Equity right here. Pulitzer Center for Crisis Reporting. So they used Pulitzer's last name and putting it in there, making it sound legitimate. And all it is a diversity, equity, and inclusion company. Wonderful. I wonder what their diversity and equity inclusion statement is. Let's find out, because to me that sounds like a bigger story than any bullshit that they want to write about Hungary. Let's report on the reporters here. Ooh, Pulitzer's statement on diversity, equity, and inclusion. Now, this here Pulitzer Center recognizes that our mission to create impact through journalism and audience engagement can only be achieved by actively cultivating diversity, equity, and inclusion in our work internally and externally. They acknowledge the richness of lived experiences that each person in our network brings to the Pulitzer Center and comment to further promoting or leveraging that diversity in order to strengthen all dimensions of our journalism and our education programs and public outreach. Therefore, they commit to actively expanding and diversifying their network. It's their responsibility to allocate their resources to support journalists and institutions which reflect their diverse communities. Foster a diverse, equitable, and inclusive community is both a goal in their own minds and integral part of carrying out their organizational mission. Definitions. Oh, they've defined diversity, equity, and inclusion, and they're saying that it can be defined in many ways, and it involve in their understanding. Oh, okay, let's see what their definition is. Well, diversity is a representation and acknowledgement of the multitudes of identities, experiences, and ways of moving through the world. Okay. This includes, but not limited to, ability, okay, age, citizenship status, criminal record and or incarceration, educational attainment, ethnicity, gender, geographical location, language, nationality, political affiliation, race, religion, sexuality, socioeconomic status, and veteran status. Therefore, we recognize that each individual's experience is informed by intersections across multiple identities. That's their diversity. It's called being an individual. I don't know what you're talking about, woman. Equity. Okay. So what are they considered equity? Their definition of equity, it seeks to ensure respect and equal opportunity for all. Using all resources and tools to Elevate? Elevate. Oh, gotcha. The voices of underrepresented and or disadvantaged groups. So racism. Racism. Right? So equity is racism. Okay. Inclusion. Okay. Foster an environment in which people of all identities are welcome. So more racism? Okay. And supported. An inclusive organization solicits, listens to, learns from, and acts on contributions of all its stakeholders. So you have to buy into their inclusion, or else you're not a stakeholder, and therefore you don't belong, and you're not equitable, you're not diverse enough, you're not equitable enough. So you have to be a stakeholder. Got it. Well, they're acknowledgments and they're affirmations, because, you have to have those. If you got diversity, equity, and inclusion, you have to have those also. You have to have your acknowledgments and your affirmations. Well, their center, the Pulitzer Center acknowledges that there are social structures that uplift and empower certain groups based on their intersecting identities and experiences. Mm-hmm. Okay. While at the same time marginalizing and erasing others. Okay. So you're talking about racism. Huh. Or just bigotry. Just maybe straight up bigotry. Yeah, okay. Bigot. Journalism and education have the power to advance a narrative or a lie. Huh. So what they're saying is we're going to lie about people because it builds them up. Well, it also limits them. So basically, what you're saying is they're going to take away all of their ability to defend themselves, because they know better, and of course democratize them their narratives. Yeah, mob rule. Of course, they believe that they're in a position of privilege as an organization that funds and supports journalists, education, and outreach, and they have a responsibility to leverage that privilege because they're smarter than you. Yeah, you have no say so in this. They're smarter than you. You're stupid. They basically just saying you're stupid and we're smarter, and that was what we're doing. We're helping you, stupid people. Yeah. Transparency. Of course, transparency is only as transparent as we allow it to be, because we're smarter than you, stupid people. And of course, there's gaps between their ears. Between their commitments and their current state, and they're going to narrow those gaps. How about the big gap between your ears? It's called a brain. Throughout your current and future work. Mm-hmm. So that's their acknowledgments and their affirmations, that they're basically a bunch of racist, bigoted people. And they're working harder to not be so racist and bigoted against you. Well, they do have some commitments here. In support of that, their mission, they're committed to DEI. There you go. The language is subject to change as much as we can, because, well, then it wouldn't be, we don't want you to understand that we're racist and bigots. We'll change the language to say whatever we want it to say. If that doesn't work, then we'll change it again. We'll keep changing it because, well, it's fluid, just like our sexuality. And of course, they're going to advance their DEI organizational practices. And how are they going to do that? By hooking up with the AP and writing stories for them. There you go. They got staff training, and basically their staff training is for DEI. The recruitment and retention is they only want DEI involved people, and their policy is if you don't believe in DEI, well, then we are not going to hire you. They have their mechanisms for accountability, develop, implement a plan, and sharing relevant data updates for the center's overarching DEI commitments with the board and their audiences. That's their commitment to you. vicariously through other people. Oh no, they own you now. That's the thing. They own you. Deliberately seek out other reporting projects, newsrooms, journalists that reflect DEI. Foster a culture of collaboration with people that only practice DEI, undertake outreach that would make your applicant pool more DEI involved, and apply cross-cultural sensitivity for DEI. Their highlight journalism is beyond story reach. It's about DEI, advancing their DEI in their K through 12 campus consortium. Your kids. Need I say more? Whenever you hear people say they're after your kids and you go, oh, no, they're not after your kids. Right there. K through 12 campus consortium, universities and college and public outreach programs. Right there. There you go. Do you need more proof? Their feature of underreported stories in their programs, resources, and elevate historically marginalized voices, reach and support diverse audiences through resources, programs, partnerships that show basically DEI in the communities where they work, cultivate DEI for people who participate in education's outreach initiatives, send feedback from students, educators, administrators to strengthen their DEI initiatives. Share data and updates through their campus consortium, advisory council, educationer partners, and audiences. So right there, they're after your kids. They say it right there in their mission statement. So every time you hear these politicians say, "Oh no, they're not after your kids," no, we have no reason to change your kids. If you don't think they're after your kids, you haven't been paying attention. Yeah, they've gotten bolder and bolder. Their updates on their DEI efforts is they've growing globally within a sustained commitment to DEI. Explore the highlights from their efforts to implement across their internal external programs over the past 3 years. So in 2020, and I'm just going down through here, they embarked on their mission is to advance DEI in all aspects of their work. They published their mission statement in 2020 and implemented the mechanisms. And how are they advancing? Wow. They expanded their journalism networks to grow diversity among journalists and what? 74 countries in 19 and 2023. They are in 103 countries. Yeah. Grantees gender, grantees race, ethnicity. We began collecting data on recipients of student reporting fellowships in 2020 with Fellows University, reporting on fellows race, ethnicity. Much of the growth can be attributed to outreach in regions which are underrepresentation. They have a growing consortium in campuses. Beautiful, huh? And it's amazing to me that nobody is understanding it. They're not getting it. Just
you stick in your 2 fingers like this, and then place your thumb on top like so. That will increase the pleasure.
God. Stupid damn phone. What's up?
What's going on? Well, so I pulled up this story on Hungary that the AP is touting, and I mean, it's amazing to me. The Associated Press is part of an ongoing Associated Press covering threats to democracy in Europe. Okay.
I'm sure Hungary is not a democracy either.
Well, this is what they're talking about, is uncovering all of this. Now, I did a quick search because I'd never heard, Pulitzer Crisis Center or Center on Crisis
that sounds
Reporting.
like some leftist organization.
Well, as soon as I saw that, I was like, why are they using the name Pulitzer? Well, it has nothing to do with them. They just use the name because it makes them sound more
That makes them
legitimate.
sound credible.
But I've gone through their entire mission statement, and it is completely and entirely DEI.
Yeah. So woke. Yeah. DEI. So, I mean, if you're a straight white male, don't apply to work here. If you're a minority, you'll get hired and promoted whether you're qualified or not. And we're not. If you're a woman, we're not really sure whether we're going to keep men out of your restrooms because we're not quite sure what a woman is. Exactly. There you go. That's your DEI.
Until it comes time for election, where now they're saying, "Oh, we're going to have our first woman president." Yeah. That's then all of a sudden they know what a woman is. Our engagement teams have also created intentional programming partnerships and evaluation methods that have expanded DEI for outreach programs, digital resources. Over 80% of teacher fellows from the past 4 years and 1619 network cohorts from the past 2 years work in schools where over 50% students receive free or reduced lunch. So they're coming after the poor kids. So they
always come after kids.
Oh yeah, this has been all about coming after the kids. 30% of students in the Amazon recruitment section process for DEI is Impact Seed Fund, micro-scale grant designed to enrich the perspective of university educators as they engage students in critical race theory. Critical issues related to rainforests, climate change, labor rights, resulted in 14 grants. So they're getting grants in Southeast Asia, Amazon, and Congo Basin. Communications team partnered with 95 media outlets on Instagram in 2023 to reach new and diverse audiences with their content. So,
because there's new and diverse audiences in those areas who are using Instagram.
95 media outlets on Instagram.
But I mean, they're not. I mean, in the what was you had the Amazon basin, like where is that? What was the one in Africa? The area in Africa.
They had the Congo basin. They had Amazon in Southeast Asia.
Yeah,
which if I'm not mistaken, don't they consider
and
India?
The Amazon and the Congo?
Isn't Southeast Asia? Isn't that India?
Oh no, it's going to be like Thailand, Philippines, Malaysia, shit like that.
Well,
they don't consider India part of Southeast Asia usually.
Well, that's what they did with Camel Toe.
Well, yeah, of course.
She's Southeast Asia.
That promotes their agenda. They can do that. They're pandering to special interest groups, but they generally don't include India as Southeast Asia.
Oh, gotcha. Until it satisfies their needs.
And not sure is correct. Rainforest is just a jungle. I refuse to call it rainforest.
Also, they're adding in alternate text. They're introducing live translation and captions, organizing multilinguals. So so whenever you're seeing those little text prompts come up that people are speaking from say for example from China, they're including things like Latinx and things like that into it. So someone from Mexico might be speaking. They've got translators in there now that'll translate it improperly for what they want it to say, for what they want the American people to hear. And it may not be what they said. So they're getting them in translators also.
Oh yeah.
This is just what they said. This is according to them, that they've got them in virtual events, publishings, recordings, blogs for events to ensure they are accessible for audiences at any time. So they are accessing your media that you might be getting from another country, and they're changing the language. Could be someone from Russia telling you X, Y, and Z happened, and they change the language because it's not diverse enough or equitable enough. They're working with journalists and to implement DeepL Pro to translate and access their multilingual. What the hell is DeepL Pro?
It's probably some AI shit.
Google search for DeepL Pro. Natural sounding translation, change a document's language and retain the original formatting for maximum time saving. DeepL Pro, choice for high quality translations. DeepL Pro for business, enterprise, translate PDF files. So it is. It's just AI.
Yeah, it's an AI.
Yet they're against AI.
It's one of those deep learning shit.
Yeah.
It's AI.
So they're fighting. That's what they said, is they were against AI.
But they're using AI to do all that shit.
They've made significant strides, and if you look at their little their strides that they've made, it covers Alaska, United States, and does not include Mexico. It's basically the entire United States and a lot of countries like Italy, England. It doesn't look like they've gotten to France yet, but I'm sure they're not far behind. But they're totally incorporated into it. 80% based in the U.S. We have grown to over 60 employees in 14 countries by the end of 2023. So in 2020, they had 34 employees, and now they have 60. So they've doubled in size.
Yeah. And
it's all about DEI, promoting inclusive, accessible environment. I'm sure that this is part of their training.
So, can't guarantee you'll be safe in the bathroom, ladies.
Well, that's all fine until, something bad happens.
No, there are spaces that women should have for themselves, just like men should have spaces for themselves.
But just think, they can take a team retreat in Lisbon, Portugal.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Just
each effort made towards DEI commitments, we continue to see how our mission to create an impact through journalism and audience engagement can only be achieved by actively cultivating DEI. We continue to learn how important care, curiosity, respect, and for complexity, humility, active listening, action, evaluation, sustained commitment are truly rooting these principles in our programs and practices. They are so deep into diversity, equity, and inclusion that they exclude people. I mean, it's all this
so
most racist bullcrap that you've ever seen. Oh my God. And these are the people that are writing stories for the AP.
Yes.
No wonder every time that I read one of these,
none of that stuff actually matters if you're just reporting the news, but if you're trying to create an agenda, push an agenda, and create news, then you need those backgrounds.
Yeah.
So to be able to craft a story to shift an opinion.
Yeah. So here we have this one. Florida school board suspends employee who allowed her son to play girls volleyball. And a Florida school employee who let her son play on her high school girls volleyball team is being suspended for 10 days after the district board found on Tuesday that she violated state law, but said firing her would be too severe. The Broward County School Board voted 5-4 to suspend without pay Jessica Norton's employment at Monarch High School, where her 16-year-old son played on the varsity volleyball team the last 2 seasons. Because they keep saying daughter. No, it is a boy. It is a son. You can call it your daughter, but it is still a boy. And that person is not going to be allowed to any longer work as a computer information specialist, but must be given a job with equal pay and responsibility. The board around Norton's actions violated the state's Fairness in Women's Sports Act, which bars men from playing with girls.
She knowingly did it.
Yes.
Let her son play on the team. Fire her ass.
Yes. Our employee made a choice not to follow the law, said a board member, Debbie Hickson, who proposed the censure, but said it was a first offense. Oh, we would not terminate someone on the first offense.
God. Yeah.
Norton, who was removed from the school after the violation was discovered in November and then placed on paid leave, called the vote an incorrect decision, but said it was better than being fired. You should have fired her. Said she wasn't sure if she would accept the punishment and return to work. Please don't. She wanted to talk it over with her son, who left the school, even though she had been his class president and homecoming princess. Maybe they could return together. Maybe you guys could just go F off together. Serious.
Ridiculous.
Norton
Should've
thinks
fired
she.
her ass, but it's Broward County, so
Norton
they
thinks
don't
she's
even know
done
how to
nothing wrong.
punch election cards. So, you know, they couldn't
Yeah.
figure out the hanging Chad bullshit. So,
Yeah.
I can expect them to know what a woman is and to protect women.
Well, the treatment of confused children has been a hot button issue across the country over the last few years. Not really. I don't understand why there's any confusion or issue with it, because it's pretty simple. Boys shouldn't be playing in girls' sports, and girls shouldn't be playing in boys' sports because they will get hurt.
Well, if I would say it could go if the girl.
You're breaking up. You're breaking up really bad. We'll give
I'm in a hole
you
here,
were breaking
shit.
up. Yeah, you were breaking up really bad.
I'm kind of down in a valley. So, can you hear me at all?
Well, yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Well, I'd say, but
So go ahead.
the girls are skilled enough and want to take the risk. They can give the boys should be allowed to just jump down and play, because the reason that her son is on the girls volleyball team is because he wasn't good enough to be on the boys volleyball team.
Or maybe they don't have a boys volleyball team.
So, no, or they couldn't play other sports.
Exactly.
You know, so
But still wanted to compete.
but
It's
if
dangerous.
the girl wants to go and try to play is good enough to play on the the boys basketball team, or to play on the football team, go for it. There's risks involved, but there's no way a boy should be allowed to play on the girls' teams. It's too dangerous. There is a biological difference.
Yeah.
That's why these people go from, these swimmers and athletes go from the 500th ranked male to the top ranked female. It's not fair competition.
Yes. Yeah, it's the people that allow men into girls' bathrooms are worse than them. And let's be very, very specific about this. Where we're talking about men that are there under false pretenses. Now, there was this comedian that tried to give some big own on somebody at one of his comedic shows, and taking out the nuances of that. He was like, "Oh, so you wouldn't let your daughter be taken into the bathroom by the father? You wouldn't let that happen?"
But it's different because the father's there to protect her.
Exactly.
I'm taking my daughter into the restroom. It's been a long time because she's like 8, so it's been 5 years, but and I didn't like to do that when she was that little. My wife hated it because generally I would have my wife take her to the bathroom. It's like, take her to the bathroom.
Take her to the bathroom.
You can do it.
And the same on the boys' side. Like take your son in the bathroom, take your daughter, but that's not always a possibility. So at times you just have to. But that's a hell of a lot different than some random dude showing up in a lady's bathroom. I mean, I could say I was in Miami for this festival. I think it was what was Marley's son's name? Ziggy. I think it was Ziggy Marley and Carlos Santana were playing this open air festival, and all it cost was 2 cans of food, because they were doing it to promote food homelessness or something like that. And there's a little mall right across from that. It's right there right across in the port. So it's an open air mall kind of thing. It's pretty cool. It's where they had all those cops around that one time for some shooting. Yeah, it's not a nice part of town. And all these people were during the breaks, they were coming over to the mall to use the bathroom because they didn't have any restrooms set up there. And the men's room, it's like guys are in there and out of there, and the women's line is like wrapped around the damn hall.
Oh yeah.
And women were getting up there like towards the front of the line, and they were just jumping in with the men and going in, doing
Yeah, but
their
they're
business.
taking that. They're acknowledging that risk. They can do that.
And you know what? None of the dudes were even half a bit worried about it. It was just like, because the women were going into the stalls, they would do their business, and then they would come out, they'd wash their hands, and they'd leave.
Yeah.
And you know how guys acted to it? Just like it was
look
just
straight
another
ahead.
person
Don't,
walking through.
Well, just don't, not engage at all.
Exactly. I mean, we're there to do one thing and one thing only. But whenever you have dudes creeping into women's rooms and showing up under false pretenses, that can be a problem.
It's not about just going to the bathroom.
Yeah. And sometimes that's all it is about going to the bathroom, but it's still freaking creepy.
Yep.
And if you got issues with that, well, you're welcome to your thing. So go ahead and create yourself transgender bathrooms or whatever the hell it is. I won't be going in there unless I just really got to go and there's no other place to go. To me, a bathroom is a bathroom. I'm there for one reason. If anybody's into that kind of stuff, well, piss off. Physically. The treatment of children has become a hot button issue cross country over the last few years. Florida's among at least 25 states that have adopted bans on. They
boys
want to
playing girl sports.
they keep on saying gender affirming care for minors. Yeah. I call it
child abuse.
Child abuse. And at least one of at least 24 states that adopt a law banning men going into women's sports. Okay. The Nortons are plaintiffs in a federal lawsuit trying to block Florida's law as a violation of their son's civil rights. And it remains pending. Yeah, they're part of the lawsuit.
Extra treatment, special treatment.
They should get no different treatment.
Yeah, because we're not going to treat you the same as other boys. We're going to give you special treatment.
That's exactly what it is, because
instead of sending you to mental treatment,
yes,
that's what you need. You need mental health treatment.
If you're confused about,
there's plenty of stories, and you get, and a lot of it has to do with social media and media consumption.
Yes.
You take away some of the access to the constant bombardment in the media, and within these kids change. They go back to being normal kids.
Yeah. Because they
realize that they don't want to be a woman, that they're simply just gay.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Don't care. And the few people that I have known that have gone, no, I'm like this is what I am. Okay. But they also have have a lot better respect towards other people's thoughts and concerns about that. They don't try to force their belief on other people. They're just like, no, I'm a man, looks like a woman, and I've chopped off my junk because I feel like a woman. But no doubt about it, I was born a man and always will be a man. It's just I don't like the parts that are there. That's called dysphoria.
Well, I mean, that's a mental health issue.
Yes,
that's
and they acknowledge it.
And they're not getting treatment for that. We're promoting it and saying, hey, these doctors that are doing that are doing stuff, especially to kids, far worse than anything Joseph Mengele did in Germany. It is despicable what they're doing to these kids. You are mutilating children for a statement.
For diversity, equity, and inclusion, you're mutilating them and promoting it and teaching it and expanding it.
And forcing it down the general population's throats, because if you don't accept it, then you're a bigot, you're homophobe, transphobe, and we're going to destroy your life and career.
Yep. Well, and here's Norton put the district in legal difficult spot by falsely attesting that their child was born female on the state's athletic eligibility form. The Florida Athletic Association fined Monarch $16,500 for violating the act, put the school on probation, and the district can be sued under the act if another student believes they were kept off the volleyball team and lost scholarship opportunities because of their son.
Exactly. And the parents should be sued for it because they're committing fraud.
Yes.
That's why she should have been fired for committing fraud.
Well, and Hickson said she wanted Norton removed from her job as a computer information specialist because in that position she could learn of other students who was doing this sport and may not report that to administrators. That puts the school district in a bad place. The four other yes votes believed a 5-day suspension or no punishment was appropriate, but agreed the 10-day ban as a compromise they could live with. They pointed to a previous 3 to 5, a 10-day suspension that were given to employees who had physically or verbally abused children as evidence Norton was being punished too harshly.
Well, that's a completely different issue.
It is.
Than lying on forms. You're committing fraud. That's a different issue.
Yeah.
Than berating a child. Because I'm sure that the verbal abuse is they probably berated a child. You know, chewed them out. I doubt there was real verbal abuse.
So member Tori Alston believes that the past suspensions cited by Norton supporters were too lax and shouldn't preclude them from firing her. She said the board was sending the message it would go soft. Yeah, that went soft on employees who violate statutes because they disagree with them. And Alston said, I have zero tolerance for breaking the law. Norton and her husband stormed out of the meeting when member Brenda Pham repeatedly called her child a boy.
Because what he is.
He is. Pham argued that Norton should face criminal charges through the Fairness Act only carries civil penalties aimed at violating schools. She compared Norton to a parent who falsifies an address to get their child into a better school, an act that is a crime under Florida law. But this is what diversity, equity, and inclusion gets you.
It's fraud.
Yeah. Pham said she supports the Fairness Act because it protects biological girls from having to compete against boys who may be bigger and stronger. Norton and her supporters have argued that her son has been on puberty blockers and estrogen for several years. So you're ruining your
destroying
child
that kid's
physically.
life. You are abusing your child is what that is. Because I guarantee you they forced that shit on that kid.
Oh, and they're saying
which celebrity is it? Which celebrity is it's got 3 kids and all 3 of the kids are transgender or whatever? It's not mathematically possible for that to occur.
No,
that they're forcing this shit on their kids.
Yes,
it's child abuse. I can't remember which one it is. Which celebrity? Some female celebrity. She's got 3 transgender kids. It's bullshit.
Just want to point out that there
Megan
is
Fox.
the argument that being born
Not
with
the medium
tissue
smart
with
journalist.
other gender is an argument. In a lot of cases, it's less than 2%. Yeah, it's less than 2%.
That's hermaphroditism. You're a hermaphrodite if you've got both parts. And that's a natural occurrence. It does happen. But one side or the other is dominant.
Volstorm says Megan Fox, the actress.
Yeah. The toe thumbs.
Yeah,
not the medium smart journalist. And not Megan Fox.
And Norton says, I don't think a school board member should be misgendering children. You're misgendering the child. If you're calling your son a girl, you're misgendering the child.
Yep.
Simple as that. There's 2 genders. That's it. And why, if you're saying that they're misgendered, that you have to call him a her? Yep. These are the people you ask, what is a woman? Whatever you want to be called is what you are. That's their idea. That's their thought. And, this is what that whole story is about.
Yeah. Your kid's a transvestite. Just get over it.
If he wants to be, sure. Cool.
Yeah.
But wait until you're out of school.
But But wait until you're 18. Once you're 18, once he's 18, he can make that decision to cross dress.
Cross dress.
And
take
do whatever
any
he
sort
wants.
of chop
But
parts off
as
if
a
they want
kid,
to.
it shouldn't be
That's up to
allowed
them.
at all.
Nope, not at all. And of course, there's this. Now, I heard about this a few days ago. This Boar's Head recall includes 7 million more pounds of deli meats tied to listeria. Boar's Head recalled addition 7 million pounds of ready-to-eat product made at a Virginia plant. So they're very specific where this comes from. As an investigation into a deadly outbreak of listeria, food poisoning continues. The new recall includes 71 products made between May 10th and July 29th under a Boar's Head Old Country brand's name. It follows earlier recalled more than 200,000 pounds of sliced deli, poultry, and meat. The new items include meat intended to be sliced at delis, as well as some packaged meat and poultry products sold in stores. They include liverwurst, ham, beef, salami, bologna, and other products made at the firm's Jarrett, Virginia plant. The recalls are tied to an ongoing outbreak of listeria poison that has killed 2 people, sickened nearly 36 in 13 states. According to U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, nearly all of those who fell ill have been hospitalized. Illnesses were reported between May and mid-July. What to do? What to know? Well, and if you're a woman, you're not supposed to be having deli meats because of listeria. If you're a pregnant woman,
If you're
not
pregnant,
supposed to be having. You have to
and
watch what
Jariah, no, to me, you're saying if you feel your kids need puberty blockers, is that parents' right? No, because you are permanently changing your child, and they truly cannot consent to this stuff.
Yes.
They cannot have informed consent for something like that.
Nope.
It is essentially irreversible. You are destroying that kid's life.
Yes. Say the Luciferians are required to flip the kids' genders. I feel like your kids need people like your parent. It's the parent's right. No.
Nope.
And see that's the thing. It is not. It is child abuse if you're doing that to a child. Straight up child abuse, because a child cannot consent. That's just like saying, well, is it okay if if daddy decides that he's gonna diddle little Judy or whatever the hell her name is? You think that's okay because the parents said it was good? No, it's abuse. Well,
these are permanent changes to these kids.
Yes, that's why I'm just like, there's a reason why that they're saying we're not going to allow this. There's a reason why they wanted to get those kinds of books out of the hands of kindergartners. There's a reason why these places like the Pulitzer Center have become more prominent in your state, in your government. They are teaching your kids these kinds of things, and they will continue teaching your kids these kinds of things because generally they're not able to have kids of their own.
Well, and what if they can't go after your kids, then they will eventually die out.
Yes.
They'll eventually go away.
Your kids. They have to have your children.
They have to perpetuate it.
This is something that they have to teach because
kids' minds are too easily molded, and
yes,
and you can influence them very easily to whatever you want.
Alcoholism might be
That's
a
why
parent's right.
The government controls education.
Yeah, teaching is your line. Yeah. Well, alcoholism might be a parent's right.
Alcoholism is different too.
Yeah, you're not.
They're not forcing the kid. They're not forcing the kids to drink. They're not making their kids an alcoholic.
Exactly. Now they might be setting a shitty example, but they're not. I would hope they're not giving it to their kids to get drunk. I mean, I knew plenty of parents that allowed their and this is more of, I guess, a Gen X kind of thing where their parents like, just drink here because I don't want you out on the street drinking. I don't want you drinking and driving. So if you're gonna drink, stay here and drink. Yeah. I mean, they weren't like 13, 14 years old. They were of like driving age, but there's just like, at least we know they're going to do it, but at least they're doing it in front of us. And we don't have to, be worried about them out there drinking and driving. But I still don't agree with it. I think the parents should be saying no, handcuff them to a bed or whatever the hell you got to do. I mean, back in the day, you just get the crap knocked out of you. I think parents got too damn weak. I don't know. That's just me. No child should be taking puberty blockers. Exactly. Never should they be. Well, with that, I'm gonna shut this bad boy down. I don't even know where I'm gonna send everybody at. I know there was somewhere, but yeah, I think I covered the whole thing I wanted to cover this morning about Trump. So because
I think I missed the Trump stuff. So
well, at the very end of his speech, and they're taking out of context what he was saying earlier. Earlier in the speech, he basically was telling people, say, listen, you Christians have not been known for voting. You've got something up your ass where you just don't go out and vote. And he's saying you need to get out there and vote. And if you don't want to vote after this, then don't. But for this election, vote. That's what he was saying. And whenever he said, you don't have to vote anymore after this election, well, that's what he was referencing. It's like, you can go back to, sticking your head in the sand. But for this one, we need your support. And he made it very clear throughout his entire speech. So whenever people are sitting there going, I don't like what Trump said about blah, 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 that's what he was saying. He was saying, get your head out of the sand for this election. If you want to go back to not voting, then go for it. But for this one, we need your support. We need you out there voting. It's just being discussed in the elementary schools. Fifth graders coming home and asking if they're bi because they live male and female. Oh, that made the headlines in Denmark too. Trump wants to end democracy. Good.
But we don't have a fucking democracy. Good. We don't want mob rule.
Yeah, that's all.
Mob rule is just is two wolves in a sheep deciding what's for dinner.
Yes.
That's all democracy is.
Yeah. So I mean, he's made it very clear what he wants to do, and all you have to do is watch the whole speech, and that instead of getting the cliff notes, and you'll understand what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Denmark is the bastion of communism. The schools.
But Baker's right. Kids need to drink more. Gives them hair on the chest. Make sure they're not like Dave, passing out after half a beer.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, it's crazy.
We all need socialism. See how happy Baker is.
Yeah, Baker, you seem so happy, brother. I mean, you can walk 16 miles in one direction and hit water. And then turn around and walk 32 miles and
the other way and hit water.
And hit water. Oh, I love it. Isolate. What's wrong with having isolationism?
I can't walk 16 miles up that.
You can't walk. Jesus, man. Oh, that's awesome. That's so awesome. Let's see. Oh, I thought I got rid of that crap. Did it not work? Damn.
What?
Well, I thought I had an intro. It took away my intro, and all other kinds of weird stuff is happening. Oh my gosh!
So what are you doing tonight? Oh, you're covering the Sarah Boone stuff tonight, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm covering the Sarah Boone stuff tonight. That's going to be that's sort of one of the things I wanted to cover. I mean, there's a whole bunch coming out, and yesterday I was so pissed off because I couldn't get damn sound to work for the game. Like, I wanted to wanted a game yesterday. I didn't want to talk politics, so I ended up watching.
So you use an OBS or Streamlabs?
Yeah. But for whatever reason, it was, and the way, and I figured out the problem. I actually fixed the issue. I got it taken care of. So next time I go to play, I can actually play. But in doing so, now my headphones don't work. I don't know what the hell I did wrong. Like I'm going to try to use StreamYard when I stream it. Yes, StreamYard slows everything down because it's browser based. So if you're trying to stream something like Call of Duty or something like that.
Yeah, but I'm not going to play one of those games because I can't. But of course, if you have a good enough computer, it won't really matter. But,
well, no, it does. If you're trying to use StreamYard, it gets really jittery because it can't handle the processing power. So what you do is you have to set up OBS and then get the OBS camera. That's why whenever you saw me come blank on that is because I pulled up the OBS camera. Is you're using a virtual camera to show to your feed, so that works, and then you can play the game using StreamYard. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I've set it up. My daughter's done Minecraft streams, with Streamlabs or OBS.
Yeah.
Couldn't figure out how to see chat. I think we finally figured that out in Jen's stream sense.
So what
apparently there's you can click a little arrow and it pops the chat out on the side of the screen. Like, oh, hey, there's chat.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Debbie, I saw that Dukes of MAGA. That was Hodge Twins, wasn't it? They're giving away a General Lee.
Oh, cool.
With the big Hemi in it. only feet stream. Ooh. There you go. That's been fun to watch MG Law transition from baseball bro to get off my lawn, Dad.
I've always been that way.
Well, what does Baker have going on? I mean, now that the trial is over,
I'm sure there's another one.
They found a verdict. So I'm curious. Be her stand back.
This was compromise verdict bullshit.
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send everyone over to the meme copium. He's covering Charlie Moist, leaving internet after losing debate to Sneeko. So we're going to send you guys over there. I'm sure that's going to be really interesting. Everybody have a wonderful day. I will see you guys later tonight. So keep an eye out for it.
Yeah. And I may try to play a game tonight. So
okay, if you're playing the game tonight, I'll
see how it goes.
People over to you.
I don't know what I'm going to do, but I don't know what I'm going to play. I have no idea. So.
Well, do you know they do have on Steam another one of the Jackbox series is on sale. I think it's like 27. I think it's Jackbox 10 or something like that. It's on sale. So everybody have a good day. We'll see you very soon. Peace, y'all.
Now I gotta call somebody to come get me because my car turned into a spaceship and I don't know how to fly it. I'm not an astronaut.